back to another Big Finish fans. In today's Big Finish fans, we're taking a look at Torchwood. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Yes, here we are at last. We've been promising this one for a little while now, haven't we?
Yeah,
Like,
I would say so, since October,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, because we were planning it for a good while, and then Big Finish came along and announced double, and so we were like, you know what? We're going to be picking that one up. It's Autons, it's 1970s, Louise Jameson. We can't say no to that. We might as well delay the Torchwood stream to include that in it. And then Diary of a River Song came along and blew our socks off.
Yeah,
Friend of the
check out that
family.
stream if
Yeah,
you haven't
that
already.
was peak Doctor Who audio drama right there. So, we sort of decided we're going to talk about this instead and save double for another time, or save the whole Torchwood stream for another time. But here we are at last. We've got around to it in the end, haven't we?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, sort of review a bit of Torchwood, because when we do the Big Finish tier lists of the year, we kind of get, oh, do you guys not check out Torchwood? Well, we do. Torchwood is sort of a palate cleanser, as it were.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing of, oh, that interests me, I'll pick it up. It's not a sort of a constant thing for us, really.
Yeah, like we're not really on a subscription or anything, are we? With this, we don't really go for the bundles. It's more just if a release interests us, we'll grab it. If it doesn't, then it's staying out of our accounts. Really, is the way it goes to Torchwood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Evening, guys. Evening, Joe Bowers. Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
hello.
I wonder if we'll have any different faces in the chat today, because I feel like Torchwood can bring in a slightly different crowd of Doctor Who fans. We shall see.
Be interesting. But I guess while we wait for a few people to join, what have you been doing, Luke? Have you been occupying yourself since the last time we streamed?
Oh. It's been a little bit longer, hasn't it? Because it was last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. It's funny. It feels like it's been longer than just 9 days. I don't know why.
I mean, it also feels shorter because of us doing a video last night.
Yeah,
so it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah, we recorded something exciting last night, and you'll be seeing that tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no long delay there. Well, you've got it edited now, haven't you? So it's
all edited. Yeah,
the
it's just
rendering.
rendered.
Yeah, but that is looking very nice. So excited for that one to drop.
Me too. I'm excited to watch it myself again.
No. Yeah, it'd be good to dive into that. A bit of a shorter one as well than our usual.
For us, I think it's shorter.
Yeah, we can ramble on a bit. We do. That's why we do these streams. We can get away with it a bit more. Hello, Daniel Hager. Thank you for joining us once again.
Hello.
But otherwise, I've been watching Last of Us again, episode 4 now.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Keeping it strong. And what else have I been watching? I actually stuck on The Avengers, the 1960s British TV version, not the Marvel Studios big budget movies.
Easy mistake.
Easily confused. I'm not sure quite. It might have been the Big Finish like cover reveals and stuff that just maybe go, you know what, I'm kind of in the mood to stick those on again. I'm not going to be picking up the Big Finish. I won't dive in that far because I've got like the whole DVD box set. I've had it for I think about 5-6 years now, maybe even more than that. I don't know. Because I remember I got into it when it was on TV. They were like replaying it on Forces TV channel or something like that, or one of the or Entertainment something or another.
Yeah, I remember
that. I watched a couple of them on there, mainly the Steed and Mrs. Peel stuff, really, and enjoyed that. So got the DVDs, but there's still like a bunch of them on the DVDs I haven't actually checked out yet. So yeah, I'm sort of going back to the old favorites at the moment because it's been a little while. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. It's nice to mix things up from Doctor Who once in a while and go for a different kind of classic 1960s TV, really. And I'm having a good time with it. And otherwise, Big Finish, really. Checking out the recent Ninth Doctor Shades of Fear box set. Finished the first story. Took quick listen to the start of the second one, but just like pre-title sequence. I haven't dived into it that much. So, but I mean, so far, not bad. It's not blowing me away or anything just yet. It's sort of, there seems to be a curse of the Ecclestons at the moment, doesn't there? Where it's just all right for the most part.
Yeah, which is bizarre because it is Christopher Eccleston on Big Finish.
Yeah.
And is this a bold thing to say? Are we? I don't want to say is the shininess sort of worn off?
Yeah.
Has that novelty gone?
I feel like it has now because it's been 8 sets.
Mm.
You're getting them so consistently, like one every 3 months since he started. It does feel like that novelty has gone now. Although it looks like we're getting a break. I feel like if we were getting another series starting in May, we'd know it by now.
Yeah, did we know Series 2 was coming out before Old Friends?
Yeah, that was like just before Lost Warriors, I think. We got that announcement. I swear that was around October time. Series 2 got announced. I mean, they did a little video, didn't they, out on YouTube? So I can have a quick look and check the date on that one, actually.
They definitely wanted to cash in on the title. Christopher Eccleston does Series 2.
Yeah, that's it, really, isn't it? I mean, when they first announced them, it was just volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, wasn't it, for those first few sets? So they could have easily just gone volumes 5 to 8, but no, they thought, nah, we'll get a Series 2 out of this. Here we go. September 13th. Wow.
Right.
So
okay.
that was like not long after Responsible Calls dropped. Yeah. So there we have it. But I mean, it looks like he's sticking around now. I think with Series 1, there was that worry of, is it going to be these 12 and then that's it? At the end of Series 2, maybe it's just the how we feel about the quality of them now, or maybe it is the fact that we feel secure in the fact that Eccleston's going to be around. He's doing Once and Future. It looks like he is a Big Finish mainstay at this point.
Yeah.
Hello, I just brought Starlight Robbery in the sale. Is it any good? Asked Dragon Bugs. I don't know. You've got it. Have you listened?
Yeah, I have listened to it because it's part of the Will Arrowsmith trilogy. I think it's the middle one. I think, the middle one.
It's Persuasion's the first one, isn't it?
Which is
Among Us.
Yeah, Persuasion's a very good one. Starlight Robbery, I think, it's sort of a take it and leave it one. Like you could either fall either way with it. It's a good idea. It introduces is it Goundrel, the frog person in Jenny, the first episode of that?
Oh, is that where he's from?
Yeah, he makes it. That's his debut, and then is in Jenny Series 1.
But
there's
another frog person, isn't there?
Dog Bolter.
Yeah, that's it. He's from the comics originally, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Dog Bolter's from the comics.
Yeah, so like in the same vein as Frobisher, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Starlight Robert, it's all right. It's okay.
Oh, Dragonbug says it's also my first main range in physical form.
Yeah, because they're going out of print, aren't they now? So snatch them up.
I think it's up to 200, isn't it? I think 201 and beyond are still safe for now. Yeah, it's funny seeing how many of them are disappearing now. Like, I think there's a whole chunk from about 50 to 70, 150 to 170 that are gone now.
It's a shame in a way, but it was always going to happen, I think.
A lot of early adventures are on their way out too. The whole of Series 5 and 4 are gone. Which
is quite a recent series. It feels recent, but it probably isn't.
I mean, Series 5 does have the new logo. Or the old logo now, the Jodie Whittaker logo.
I guess that's the Heritage logo now, isn't it? If it's on the collection sets.
I suppose so. I feel like it's only just been kept around for the collection sets for the consistency's sake. I think everything else is going to have new logo now. I imagine when those animations come along that were rumored, they'll have the new logo on it. And I think it'll look better on like the DVD cover, to be honest. I think the Whittaker logo didn't quite work for me on those. It works on the collection, on the animation covers, it does look a bit too small at the top there. It's sort of hidden away.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think with the new logo, that can pop a lot more. And I think probably that will work rather well with an animated cover.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, we'll see. I wanted Silver Turk. Well, it was too late. Oof. Well, I heard good things
Silver
about that one.
Turk's a good one. Silver Turk's a good one.
Daniel Hager, the Doctor Who fan, asks, can you recommend any Main Ranger's Fifth Doctor Big Finish story for me, please? We'll actually be doing a stream sometime in March about the Fifth Doctor, won't we? But I think we can have a quick look now while there's some on sale.
You can have a little look at the ones that are on sale. But yeah, I think we decided a date last night on when we're doing the Fifth Doctor stream.
Yeah, that's what. Keep that close to our chest for now, just in case. These things are subject to change.
Subject to change.
Yeah, we've got the whole of February mapped out now. If you want to go check the community tab on the Purchase of 11 channel, you will see what next week's and the weeks after are. Yeah, next Friday, Kaleidoscope, isn't it? And then week after that, we'll be diving into the Ninth Doctor Adventures Series 2, ranking them all on the tier list. So you can see the thumbnails for them over on the community tab. Have a look there. I'm just scrolling down to the 200, the 150 to 200s because they'll be on sale.
Eldrad Must Die, that's a good one. That's on sale at the minute. I enjoyed that one. Lady of Mercia, that's a nice little historical one.
Oh, it looks Entry Plague's still there.
Yeah, that's still there. That's a good
but
one.
It looks like Equilibrium and Mistfall have gone.
I mean, that's a good trilogy. Very nice trilogy.
But sadly, you've missed your chance.
Yeah, Peterloo Massacre, that's always a good one. Aquitaine's a brilliant one.
Yeah.
I think anything over 200 is when you get into some real good Fifth Doctor content.
Yeah, like the era that we started collecting in, that's when things good. Oh, they've reduced the price now. So if you're okay with download only, everything from 100 to 150 is now £8 for download rather than 13 quid. So you can get, if you wanted to start the older Nissa arc, you could go for Cobwebs and then carry on through there, Whispering Forest and Cradle of the Snake, which is one that you did recently, isn't it?
I did that one recently, and very good. A nice little sort of trilogy for the Mara, and sort of a sequel to Snake Dance. Very good story. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, I've just noticed that there's like a theme for the covers of those actually, with the 4 TARDIS travelers up top divided by something, and something in the bottom in the middle as the focus. That's quite nice. I mean, Spare Parts, if you haven't got that one.
Yeah, Spare Parts is a good one. If you have a Spotify account, first 50 are there, so you can check out some free Davo. Kingmaker's a good one. Son of a Dragon's a good one.
No.
There's a lot, to be fair. Davo, can't go wrong with him.
Yo-Yo just finished the first Torchwood Big Finish, says Hoover with a small collection. You've come to the right place then.
Oh, perfect timing.
Wow. We won't quite be talking about that one, but that was 2015, wasn't it? The Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Hoover with a small collection also says, I also finished the volume 1 of the 3rd Doctor Adventures. I mean, that was a bit of a rough one for us, wasn't
it? I think that's the release I've done like the biggest sort of U-turn on.
Oh, really?
Because I liked it. I liked it when it came out, but with the hindsight of what's gone after it, it doesn't quite live up to like the level of what we get now with the 3rd Doctor.
But I suppose you sort of like needed maybe that first step to get to where we are now.
It's like what you said about the Outlaws and Beyond Wargame. It's proof of concept.
Yeah. I'd say Big Finish are getting much better at it. It's because back then recasts were a new thing. So they were they were being almost too careful about it, weren't they?
Yeah.
So you had
Instead of
that
embracing
narration
it.
there. Yeah. But even the narration, I'd say, isn't quite what makes it a bit naff. It's more just the stories as a whole for me. Yeah. And also, it's just an odd one with Mike Yates there. It's like very obvious that they're trying not to do too much recasting. Whereas now with the Brigadier, it opens up so much more for the Third Doctor era, having John Colchester in that role. It really
I'll go.
it feels almost hollow before that in some ways, particularly Volume 1, where it's like it's a shallow reminder of what the Third Doctor era was in a way, and it just makes you feel a bit sad that that's gone and makes you want to stick on a Pertwee instead.
Yeah,
Whereas now it feels like a living reincarnation of that era.
Yeah, it does feel like it's skirting around the edges of what the Third Doctor era is, and I think by Volume 3, you're kind of like going, how far can this be sustained? By going, oh, the Brigadier sent us here, and yeah.
Well, definitely check out Volume 2 though, because Transcendence of Ephros is a banger.
That's arguably one of the best in the range.
Dragon Bugs adds on to this. I've just listened to The Prisoners of the Lake, actually. Enjoyed it more than what I thought I would, but you can tell it's going to take a couple to get going. Yeah, there is. Yeah. It's just the growing pains, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not
with
just,
anything.
Yeah. Not just for the Third Doctor, but for Big Finish stepping into recasts as a whole, really. Yeah, the Lake story was fun. Didn't vibe with the other one, sadly. What was
Havoc of Empires.
Empire? Yeah, that's one you really don't get on with, isn't it?
Yeah, eels and that. There's this one. I guess it's a character, and it's not the actor's fault. Where it's just a really over the top performance. I think it's like the wedding planner. Oh, goes right through me.
Hubian, the Small Collection also adds Secret History is a fun one. That's a good one as well. Again, I think a year ago or so we did.
I think it was in April. I think we did that.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it? Yeah. We did
Not
a stream on the Locum Doctor trilogy.
Yeah, that was a fun stream.
Yeah, 10 months ago. Let's have a check on the date of this one. March 18th. So.
I thought it was. I had it in my head. It was April. My bad.
Maybe you're confusing it with the what's? I was going to say novel adaptations. That's later than April. That is when's that? June, July, May. Oh, Memory Bank and Other Stories. There we go. That must have April,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, April 22nd, Memory Bank and Other Stories. There we go. Mystery solved.
There we are. There we are.
I've got River Song meeting the Fifth Doctor in season 3 on Big Finish. You really like that one, don't you? That's one of your favourite rivers.
It was my favourite until A Friend of the Family.
Yeah. I mean, nothing can compare to that. So
no, I to be honest, it's still a good set. I think that's the first box set that takes River forward. It gives Davison something different to do with Andrew, and it lets him sort of flex his comedic chops.
Yeah, I think that's something that Big Finish has done as a whole for the Fifth Doctor. They have given him a bit more comedy that was lacking on TV.
Yeah, Time in Office especially. That's another good one.
I think it's because John Nathan Turner maybe really was trying to ease away from that Tom Baker level of comedy. Like he wanted the show to be taken seriously again. After I think almost Tom Baker sort of took over in his eyes, didn't he?
Yeah, Tom Baker's a secret showrunner.
Yeah. I mean, you can. It is a bit of a shame that the show maybe took itself a bit too seriously, especially when sometimes the budget didn't quite back that up. But yeah, certainly Big Finish has discovered a more humorous side to the Fifth Doctor and has really got to explore that. Shane Mike Yates hasn't appeared in more for Dr. Ventures. I know Richard Franklin has been in well, and hopefully that may change one day. Yeah, it's only been in Volume 1, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think his last big finish was a unit assembled, wasn't it, Richard Franklin?
Yeah, it was. Was that 16 or 7? 16, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He's been in Star Wars more recently. He's been in Doctor Who.
Oh no, it was 17 actually, I think.
Oh, yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because it started in 15, didn't it, with Extinction. Then 16 would have been whatever the second one was in
Shut
Silence.
down
Shut
and
down.
silenced.
Yeah, and then Assembled was after that.
Yeah, so it would have been 17.
Yeah, there we go. I want to see some new companions by Big Finish. I don't think Fifth Doctor has many new ones. That is true. But I feel like it's more because there's less gaps for it. With the Sixth Doctor, you can just give him any old new companion, really, because he actually has time alone, whereas the Fifth Doctor doesn't quite have that. So if you give him a new companion, it's normally got to be on top of ones he's already had.
I mean, the Mark stuff is a brilliant way of sort of the tiny gap you have with the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah. Start with Tartarus, and then you get the Mark stuff. That's good.
Yeah, because like with the Fifth Doctor, you end up with like a companion like Erimim, which doesn't quite work.
Well, I'd say that's sort of in a similar vein to Mark, really, with them both being from far in the past. Yeah. I mean, I will still say, though, that I feel like the Mark stuff is often better for what it does for the rest of the characters than for Mark himself.
Yeah, I think by the second run of stories, Mark's sort of been forgotten about.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Lost Resort did well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like after that, it's just a case of, okay, we've done everything we want to do with Mark now. Can we get rid of him, please? It's a shame.
It didn't outstay his welcome, though, to be honest. It wasn't like a prolonged.
But when you compare it to a Sixth Doctor original companion like Flip or Constance, they're night and day, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
But it's an interesting one there. The Fifth Doctor has sorry, Joe Bowers, I'm messing up your message there. The Fifth Doctor has had a few original companions: Erimum, Abby, Thomas Brewster, Mark. Did Thomas Brewster start with the Fifth Doctor?
Yeah, he did. And I think it was The Hauntings of Thomas Brewster, I think.
Because he went on with the Sixth Doctor and Maggie Stables' character, didn't he?
Yeah. I think, that was The Crimes of Thomas Brewster.
Yeah, which was also where Flip was introduced. Hopefully 2 gets some with the Season 6B arc. It looks like there's room for that, but it seems we're going back to Jamie first. Woodman's out, long big finish keeps that going.
Yeah.
Human Small Collection says, yeah, not denying he hasn't had a few, just needs some more because I'm greedy. That's understandable. And also I think he needs one that's actually makes a bit more of an impact.
I mean, he did have they did set up a new companion in Empire of Arachnos, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I thought you were going to go for Diary of a Song Series 3 again.
I mean, that's true, actually. Yeah, no, come to mention it.
Yeah, there's sort of have one there. But it's one of those one-story ones where they turn out to be something else.
Oh, spoilers.
No.
Ruined it now.
I mean, I'm pretty... It's in the synopsis of the episode.
Yeah.
I got all the Mark's story with the Fifth Doctor, and I love them as they are a missing season.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very nice how that works out. You've got about with 2 trilogies worth of stories there. It does make up pretty much a full Davison season. In fact, I think it's 26 episodes if you throw in Time Apart.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, because Tartarus is double length, so that's 2, and then it's 4 and 4 for the next 2, so that's 10 for the first trilogy. 14 from once you add Time Apart, 18 once you add Mad Quake and Fin Time, and then another 8 from Lost Resort and Other Stories makes 26. Yeah, there we go. It is like a proper Fifth Doctor season there. I also recently bought the Further Adventures of Lucy Miller in the sale. I know it's slightly jumped ahead for the 8th Doctor Adventures, but it was the best deal there, so I jumped for it. That's understandable. And I think it is relatively easy to jump on with it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I think the first episode does make a point of reintroducing Lucy Miller as a character.
Yeah, that's in itself its own little series of adventures.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for another box set of that.
Yeah, that's what's been on our list for doing a throwback for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind actually next time we're talking about streams, because we forget the throwback ones, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I think as long as we do like a once a month for throwback, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I think we're just sort of keeping an eye out for when it makes sense to do one often, aren't we? Like we're seeing, is there going to be another Lucy Miller set? Because then that'd be a good time to do it. But we'll see.
Yeah. It's like the comic adaptations, like Beep the Meep. It made sense with the Beep the Meep hype to take a look at that release.
Yeah, cash in on that a bit.
Yeah, literally just go, hey, Big Finish have done Star Beast. Check it out so you can know what the
have a
Beep
bit of a history lesson.
Yeah. Get your reading list in ready for the 60th.
Yeah, Hooven the Small Collection also says, I think Sixth gets a new companion in Crisscross. I'm excited for that. Yes, that's where you meet Constance.
Well, technically, you meet her in Last Adventure because that was her first story.
Yeah, but Crisscross is the first chronologically.
Yeah.
Yeah, shall we dive into Torchwood at last?
Yeah,
I think everyone's settled in now. Well, actually, how have you been? I don't think we asked that.
See, don't care about me.
Every time.
It's very rude of you.
I remembered before we got onto Torchwood.
So I'll give you that.
Yeah, better late than never. How have you been? What have you been up to the last?
Mainly just Clone Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
That's mainly been me watching the Clone Wars for the first time, so no spoilers. I know how it ends, Order 66, but it's interesting.
How far are you through now? Did you get through any more last night?
I didn't watch any last night. I'm still at the
Academy.
Yeah, the Academy.
So you finished the Academy, haven't? And now you're on to. So you'll be on to Assassin next.
Yeah, Assassin's the next one I've got to watch.
Yeah, this is where it loops back round to Hostage Crisis from Series 1.
Oh, right, okay.
Fills that out. So. Oh, Dragonbug says, first time for Clone Wars. It's a classic. I grew up with it along with Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's one more. I was one of those kids where it's not Ewan McGregor, it's not Hayden Christensen. I don't want to know. But now I've matured.
And you realise Matt Lanter's the better Anakin.
I'm not saying anything. I've just sort of fallen in love with it, and it grows up with you. I can see how people who watched it when it aired, but it gets more mature. But even in season 1, there's some quite adult stuff with the droids having pin-up Twi'leks, and you're like, come on, this is a kid's cartoon, mental. But they got away with that.
You get that quite gruesome death of the captain, the Senate Commando captain, who gets stabbed through the chest from the back by Ventress.
Yeah, and then kisses him, and then lets him fall to the floor. It's mental.
I won't spoil anything, but season 4 is my favourite of the Clone Wars.
I mean, I really enjoyed season 2, to be honest.
Yeah, season 4 is a very strong one. I think season 7 is great as well. It's a lot hard to really pick favourite seasons in that sense, because there isn't an overarching thing with each season to really distinguish them. So often it's more just broken up into which arcs are great. But yeah, there's plenty of good stuff to come, definitely. Just keeps getting better as it goes along. But yeah, Torchwood time now.
Yeah, finally. Let's go into it.
It only took us half an hour to get around to the title of the stream.
That's good for us. That's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, apologies to anyone who's watching this on repeat thinking, oh, I want to watch some Torchwood.
Well, now's your time.
Yeah. So, double. Here we go. I mean, do you want to kick us off with this one, or do you want me to?
I'll give you the honours.
Because I know what you mostly think of this one.
Yes, I don't know what you think of this, so this is why I want you to kick off.
Yeah. It's an odd one because I feel like there are a lot of great moments in here. Like, it is Torchwood in the 1970s, headed by Roberta Craven, played by Louise Jameson, who is this sort of Sherlock Holmes style of character. She has Asperger's and what is the name of the condition for like is it hyper-awareness syndrome?
Yeah,
that's it. And so her brain is running at 100 miles per hour. She's taking in all this information and trying to work out, and almost there's too much information for her sometimes, isn't there? She's slowing her brain down with alcohol so that she can keep up with everything that's going on. So very much a Torchwood character, and Louise Jameson is perfect casting here, and she gets some wonderful dialogue, simply dripping with quality. Yeah, and there's wonderful, witty scenes, isn't there? It's made up of a lot of great individual scenes, this one. Some interesting auton action at times. Other times, I'm struggling to understand what on earth's meant to be going on in it.
Yeah, I think you have these gruesome moments of the autons, and you kind of have to wait the next scene to get the full context of how horrific it was.
And then sometimes you don't even get the full context.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it sounds really, really gruesome, but then it turns out they just got suffocated, and you're like, really? I swear I heard some weird popping sounds and stuff in there as well.
It's not a plastic bag.
No. I mean, there was a wonderful scene involving a plastic bag. I say wonderful. Wonderfully gruesome.
Yeah, it does have its darker elements, and I think part one's more of the espionage than episode part two.
I think part two does something that quite a bit of Big Finish has done. I think particularly Guy Adams' scripts, I've noticed, where you sort of have more, it's almost like the villains of one, and so you've just got a series of scenes that are hanging about until it all comes crumbling down at the end.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're good scenes. Like I say, there's a lot of good scenes in here, but it feels like the way it all comes together isn't quite as good as it could have been. I don't know.
And I think the way it ends, it just kind of like you've kind of you've kind of destroyed like Roberta and stuff because of the way how it ends.
Did you guess the big twist? Or there's quite a few big twists in this, and I mean, usually I'd say just simply saying there's a big twist is almost telling, but it is a political espionage. They've said themselves there's a lot of twists in this one, so I don't feel like we're spoiling anything that Big Finish haven't themselves by saying it's a twist. It's got twists.
Yeah, you could see it sort of coming.
Yeah, it would be a political thriller without them, but certainly, yeah. I guessed like all the big twists. There's like one at the end of episode 1, isn't there? That had been very obvious for a while, with just how the other characters were acting. And yet, certainly the one at the very end of the story feels like the obvious thing you would do with this story. But nevertheless, I don't think guessing those twists necessarily dampened my enjoyment of those reveals.
Yeah, I think for me, it needed to lean a bit more into the 70s. Like I thought this sort of story would have its own unique Torchwood theme.
It does. I quite like it. It almost gives me a Jessica Jones vibe, to be honest.
I wanted something a bit more out there because it's the 70s.
Yeah, I think it's going more for the serious 70s take, though, isn't it? Rather than the starring Louise Jameson. Like that sort of Torchwood double.
But you want something like that, though.
I don't think it would have fit with the tone they were going for here. I mean, what do you make of the other music, though? Because there's some callbacks to Spearhead and Terror of the Autons, isn't there, in the sound design and music?
I think that was... I don't want to say the thing I enjoyed the most, but probably the thing I enjoyed the most.
Yeah. You're a Poetry fan. You can.
I'm a Poetry fan, yeah. It was just nice to have sort of that Autumn motif return, because Big Finish don't really use sort of television sort of monster themes at all, so it was nice to see that incorporated in that, and it made it feel more in universe with Spearhead and Terror of the Autons.
Mm-hmm. I think often that comes down to licensing, doesn't it, really? Like, they've had to make their own 9th Doctor and 10th Doctor themes because, you know, they can't really use those Murray Gold ones. Like, they could get away with the title sequence, of course, but beyond that, they've got to do their own stuff here. So I imagine it might have more been that this wasn't specially composed for the 70s Autumn stories, and instead was just stock music that they weren't able to grab for free, perhaps, is how this one worked out. I'm not too sure. But it's very nice that is the case, nevertheless, because it adds a lot to the atmosphere of this one.
Especially when you get, like, people being driven around in chauffeurs, and you're like, yeah, this is really playing into it very well.
Yeah, you sort of like get that Delgado in Mind of Evil vibe, don't you, at points?
Yes, you do, yeah. With, like, Ness Oil and all that sort of meeting with, like, the rival company.
Yeah, I mean, there was that in part 1, the moment that I had no clue what was going on, like, after there was a certain meeting. Do you know the one?
I know which one you mean.
I still don't know what on earth happened after that one.
Yeah, I imagine it was a chair, because I don't know whether it's because sort of you subconsciously recognise that music from the plastic chair in Terror of the Autons.
Yeah, but I suppose like a car crash or something. I don't know.
I see. This is the thing. I don't know. It's a bit confusing.
Yeah, it has great moments to it, though. Particularly with Louise Jameson. She is on fine form here. Like, just when you think she couldn't surprise you as an actress, she does. I think that's definitely probably the main takeaway from this.
I mean, I think they're definitely going to try and do more with Roberta.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly set up that way at the end. Like, this at the end of it, it felt like more of a pilot than its own just event. And once I saw that, I was thinking, okay, maybe I can accept this a bit more now. And I'm sort of interested in seeing if it improves on a second listen.
Now you know what's sort of coming and sort of what to expect.
Yeah, I think it will be one that will improve on re-listen if I get around to that at some point. What do you make of it being a double release?
I don't know if it benefited it. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It does. I mean, it's nice getting 2 bits of cover art. It's the main thing. But at the same time, you're paying quite a bit extra for that extra bit, really, when you could have just had it be 2 discs on in the same case and had it be 15 quid for CD and 13 for download. But it's something we haven't had for a while, really. Like, since the 4th Doctor Ventures moved into box sets, we haven't had to worry about this style of release. And so now it's weird going back to that when, you know, we're fine buying 2 separate Torchwood releases with 2 different stories, but buying one that's double the length for that same price feels a bit more wrong.
And it's quite a short story as well. It's like 15 minutes. It's not even an hour.
Yeah, it's 55 minutes each, which, to be fair, I'm not too bothered by because it doesn't overstay its welcome. But yeah, I mean, speaking of those gorgeous covers, it's often the case with Torchwood and covers, but they are a bit deceptive in that you don't really get anything quite like this in the audio itself.
I mean, I would have liked to have like Roberta on the cover just to know whether it's a young Louise Jameson or an old Louise Jameson.
I'm pretty sure it's old based on.
I imagine it would be.
She's called an old bag.
Yeah.
But you wonder if maybe it's not quite old Louise Jameson.
I mean,
we're getting a bit insulting now. Actually, sorry, Louise, if you're listening. It's not quite.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is she? She must be in her 70s at the moment, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it shows how much of a powerhouse Louise Jameson is for Big Finish. So I think her and Colin Baker are kind of like the two big stars of like Doctor Who Big Finish. In terms of like the content they've done, I think Louise Jameson probably trumps it with directing, writing.
She's all over the shop.
Yeah.
And doing a great job in all
more
areas.
power to her.
Yeah. Dragonbug says, I'd listen to no Torchwood, so I'll have no clue for this. Oof. I'll get to it eventually. Though such a shame that the Jack story with Tennant got dropped, though. Would have been a perfect jumping on point. Yeah, absent friends. There we go.
It definitely is absent.
Yeah, it's absent from our accounts. I can understand why with Barrowman, though. But
I understand. I just think it's a shame because I just want more Tennant content, you know?
Yeah, it looked like a good release. But I mean, how do you feel like the Ranger's doing quite well without Barrowman, though? Like since then?
I think it's shown the sheer creativity of what it is because Torchwood isn't just Cardiff. You know, it isn't just Jack. And I think ever since Torchwood Soho, which we'll talk about later, it shows that there is life beyond, you know, Jack in Torchwood. And I think that it's doing well. I think it's doing incredibly well.
I think we've said a couple of times before, it feels like the worlds of Torchwood now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Expanding it is its own little corner of the Doctor Who universe. It's not Jack's story anymore. It is Torchwood as an organisation and where we can go with that. But did you prefer part 1 or part 2 of Double?
I think I probably preferred part 1 because I just liked the world, what was being set up within it and the characters.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I might be the same, but I don't. Yeah. It's odd. There were times where I'm like, I'm really enjoying this. Then other times where I'm like, it's not doing enough for me as much as I thought it would.
I think you have an expectation of what the story is from the cover,
and
it doesn't quite reflect that. And like you say, most Torchwood stories don't really reflect the cover.
Yeah, I mean, there was one wonderful scene by the docks, or just by the River Thames or something, where it involves the ham bap.
Oh yeah,
you know, yeah.
I know which one.
There's like wonderful scenes like that where it's seedy business deals and such and threats.
Yeah, it feels very Minder and like professionals.
Yeah, I love that stuff in it. And it's similar to what we had with the Annihilators, where we said you can see the film grain in it. You can visualize that.
Yeah.
You can visualize the grit of it. It's just in the action scenes where it really loses the sense of what on earth is going on here. Yeah, on the whole, I'd probably go 7 or an 8 out of 10 for this one.
I'd go 5 or 6.
Do you think you'll pick up another one if they do it?
I think it depends on what the release contains.
Yeah. I wonder if
I'll let you do it, and if it's good, I'll pick it up.
I'll be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Because I did have that odd feeling of, even though I'd been up and down with this release, at the end of it, when it was all like assembling the team, I felt, you know what, I'm interested in where to go with this. And I wonder if it's going to be just more monthly range stuff at first, or if it'll go straight into box sets. They're probably waiting to see on the sales of this.
I imagine it's done well on the sales.
Yeah. I mean, Autumn's certainly drawing a crowd. What will it be called, do you think? Because you've obviously got Torchwood 1, Torchwood Soho. They've each got their own titles. So I wonder what this will be.
Probably the Groovy.
The Groovy Torchwood Gang.
The Groovy Torchwood Gang.
I don't know. I mean, it sort of gives me... I don't know. Because it's kind of Torchwood Soho again, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
because they even mentioned Soho. It's that same establishment just after Norton's gone, but you can't really use that as a title because that's already taken.
Norton's gone.
Torchwood, Norton's gone.
Literally.
Yeah, but we shall see. I mean, I suppose it's kind of what I initially expected the new countermeasures to be. It has like the more serious tone that the original countermeasures from the 60s had, while the new countermeasures went with what you expected this more to be, with the more groovy 70s style. But yeah, Torchwood Double, it's an interesting one. Didn't live up to our expectations, but not horrible either by any means. I think the main thing I would say is wait for it to go on sale, because as it stands, you're paying a lot here. Like, you can get a free disc box set for cheaper than these 2 1-disc sets. So that'd be my advice on this one. Wait and see with it, really. Yeah, that's it. Shall we take a step back now from January to December and talk about the Empire Man? Queen
Yeah, we
Elizabeth.
can do. Let's get onto the old Torchwood page, I guess.
Yeah.
Boom, Torchwood page. There we go.
Here we
Empire
go.
Man.
Oh, there it is. I kicked us off with Double, so I'd say all's fair for you to have a crack at this one. The Empire
Okay.
Man.
So it's sort of become a tradition in December that Torchwood do a spooky story. I think ever since sort of 2020 with like The Crown, The Grey Mare, and now The Empire Man. And I think that this was definitely a prime December listen. It has that nice sort of M.R. James creepy tale to it.
Yeah, it's very much the basic setting is Queen Elizabeth, not Queen Elizabeth, bloody hell, Queen Victoria.
Very different,
Just a tad.
Just a tad out.
Yeah, Queen Victoria has invited the new Prime Minister over.
Which Prime Minister are we on now?
Who knows? I mean, and they're basically just going to tell ghost stories around the fire to each other on the countdown to Christmas Day. And I got, well, I don't want to say quite lucky, because it's not like I didn't plan this as such, but I just happened to have a bit of time free Christmas Eve. I started listening to this about an hour before Christmas Day. So it felt right. I was at the right time of day to have a little go with this one and have some ghost stories fed into my ears.
It's a nice little intimate. I think that's the thing with these Torchwood monthly range. I've noticed that they are sort of very intimate character pieces and character studies of like the main team.
Yeah, that's very much what they're going for. I think this one very much pulls you in and makes you feel like you're sat by the fire. I mean, there's something quite cozy about Victoriana as a whole, isn't there, as an aesthetic?
It's, for me, like Victorian stories are like, they are winter stories.
Yeah, they are.
To listen to.
I suppose it goes back to like the Dickens stuff as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it does sort of lean into that, I think, especially when you get to sort of the butler story.
Yeah, it's nice how this one all plays out, because it is a trio of stories, isn't it? You got Queen Victoria's tale, you got the Butler's tale, which is probably my favourite of the 3.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and then you've got the Prime Minister's tale, and he's sort of wondering how these are all going to come together. And yeah, it ends with a bit of a dark twist, doesn't it? As is tradition with Queen
As
Victoria,
you would expect.
Really. Yeah, Jesus. It's nice having this more morally ambiguous character in Torchwood.
Hello,
stylish one. Thank you for joining
hello. I sort of got like the signalman vibe off this one.
No. Yeah, I suppose that's sort of what Jonathan Barnes was feeding into, isn't it? SMR James stories.
Well, that was Dickens, that was.
Oh yeah, it was Dickens, that one, yeah. What would you give this one then out of 10?
I'd give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd hover around that 0.2, to be honest. So
I don't think it's my favourite Victoria story Big Finish have done.
It's like, it doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But you do sort of sit there thinking, maybe it could be doing a bit more, really, is my feeling towards this one. So I can't really pick many faults with it. But at the same time, I feel like there's more, it could have gone further, perhaps. Yeah, there we have the Empire Man. I suppose next up is one that I got and you didn't, isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess you can take it away.
Yeah, with the Lincolnshire Poacher now.
I've just got to find it now.
I suppose if you go back on Empire Man, you can go down to the bottom and then just click the back. Right down at the bottom.
Right down the bottom?
Previous release.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I feel like such a boomer.
You're still used to the old website.
I miss that old website. I love that old website.
Yeah. It's a Yanto Jones one written by Stuart Pringle and Laura Mooney. So it's the same dream team that was behind The Grey Mare last year, which we did quite enjoy, didn't we, that one?
Yeah, I think that's probably been my favourite December Torchwood release.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's like, because it's very different from The Crown and the Empire Man, isn't it? Because those are very much the Victoriana, bit more slower pace with Queen Victoria, whereas The Grey Mare sort of has a bit more of an action vibe to it.
Yes, and I feel like you can easily get engrossed in it more.
Yeah, that's true. It's a nice, strong character piece for Yanto as well. Yeah. And I mean, this one, on the other hand, isn't necessarily as focused on Yanto. Like, he is there, no doubt. I mean, he's on the cover, you can see him there. But it's much more told from the perspective of the titled Lincolnshire Poacher, who a man called Greg played by... He was also in Stranded, the actor, not the character. It was David Shaw Parker, there you go. He was one of the older gay couple who lived in Baker Street with the Eighth Doctor and Stranded.
Oh, that's nice.
I can't remember.
Was he Ron or Tony?
Ron, I think. He was a nice one.
Oh, okay.
Or the less grumpy one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get him here playing this rather interesting character in a rather interesting situation. And he's trying to drag Yanto into this world, really. And what you get for a lot of it is just almost like a podcast with him. He's recording different sounds and stuff. He's got these different interests. And I think there's something quite sweet about that when you have this older man who has these peculiar hobbies. Yeah. But certainly there is some darker edges to the character as well, which get revealed as it goes along. And yeah, you get him going around checking his traps and stuff. And you certainly have a lot of weird out there moments in this one. It's almost too intimate in the sense that you feel like you're claustrophobic, you feel like you're going mad, you feel like you're trapped. And yeah, it's very well done how they execute those sequences, because that's how the characters are meant to be feeling. And I think when it's audio, when it is more intimate for you, when you're getting lost in the soundscape, it works very well there. But yeah. And then you also get some block transfer computation thrown in as well. So there's a lot going on.
Nice little curveball.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's another 7 out of 10. This one I enjoyed. It's not quite on the level of The Grey Mare, but
because it was interesting. Because I saw somebody say that this is the best monthly range Torchwood story.
But
yeah. I guess each their own.
Yeah.
Every story is somebody's favourite.
Yeah, it's sort of harder to recommend Torchwood almost because of that in some ways, because you're only getting one story, so they are quite expensive for what you get. Whereas when you go in for box sets, you're getting 3 stories for a little bit more in price, but it works out cheaper per story, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think with those box sets, there's different flavours of stories. So I think every fan sort of catered for.
Yeah, which is ultimately why we're a bit more picky with Torchwood, isn't it? We don't want to go for something that we're not going to enjoy for an hour. But yeah. I mean, before this was SUV, wasn't it? Which neither of us picked up.
It did interest me. But again, I think it was one of those ones where October was already a spenny month.
Yeah.
So
it just slips down the side, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I might go back to it because I've got the Lincolnshire Poacher through to double part 2, and also I've got before this the what's it called? Can I get to it? Can I remember it before it appears? Death in Venice. It appeared before I remembered the title. But yeah, so I've got that one, and I've got the 4 that come after SUV. So do I get SUV just to have a set of 6 in a row? We shall
I
see.
guess with your little Big Finish hack, maybe, yeah, with your 10% off.
Yeah, we'll see if I need a story to throw on there to get it over at some point. That could be the one to go for. But Death in Venice now. This is quite a... Or actually, should we skip back to the Red List first? Because this is a sequel to that.
Yeah.
And you've actually started listening to the Red List recently.
I have, in preparation for the stream.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Red List. I mean, I do have some Taran War. Not listened to that one either.
I think you said you're about... Was it 30 minutes in or 30 minutes to go? Because I think this one's a long one.
It's an hour and 9 minutes, yeah. This one, from what I've listened to, I just really like it. I like the intimate vibe. I love Mr. Colchester. I love his dry wit, and it's really refreshing hearing Ace in a different setting. And just them bickering about the crossword. It's finding drama in the mundane.
There's that wonderful FU line, isn't there?
Yes, I did have a little chuckle about that.
And it works very well because this is one you notice it doesn't have that tag of this contains mature content. And well, it's more like mature on the Doctor Who level, where similar to the War Master, it can be quite heavy stuff, but it's not crossing a line of unsuitable for children in that sense. But certainly, it's got a bit of maturity to it, but it's not got any strong swearing or any really dark stuff there. But yeah, it is just a lot of fun, really, just sitting and chilling with these 2 characters for a while. I think is the main thing. And like you said, it is all very much in that one setting of the hotel.
Yeah.
Similar to Double, it does have a bit of a feel of it just being a series of really strong scenes, but maybe not tied together as well. But I think because of the nature of it, it gets away with that. It doesn't necessarily need a strong plot.
Because let's be honest, the reason you're there is for Ace.
Yeah.
That's the hook.
I mean, these 2 together work so wonderfully. You can see why they chose them as a double act and why they then went back to that for Death in Venice.
And it's weird, but this is the first monthly range Torchwood to have Mr. Colchester in.
Yeah, I mean, it's both of our first... No, it's my first taste, but not yours, because you did get to some Aliens Among Us, didn't you?
Yeah, I finished the first box and got halfway through the second.
Yeah. So you're halfway through Aliens Among Us.
Halfway through it.
It's still got 6 more episodes to go, 12 of God Among Us, and then maybe Among Us as well.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to commit that much.
No. But he's a wonderful character from what I've heard.
He's my favourite thing of the new Torchwood from Big Finish. Love him.
I always get an extra kick out of sticking on Planet of the Ood now, because he's there at the start, gets killed off by an Ood in the pre-title sequence. But yeah, it's just it's a very Russell T Davies thing, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Where you have those characters like the scientist, or the doctor rather, in Aliens in London, well, actually just Aliens in London, and that ends up actually being Tosh in the end, doesn't it? They reveal.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But yeah, certainly at first it was two separate characters, and it just got the same actor in again. Same with Gwen. She obviously turned up in Doctor Who before she. Eve Miles turned up in Doctor Who as a different Gwen, as Gwyneth, before becoming Gwen in Torchwood. And so having an actor who was in Russell T Davies' Doctor Who, then coming on to Torchwood for Big Finish, it makes sense. It feels right with that practice, I suppose, that he has. And yeah, just wonderful dry wit with both of them. It's just
there's a lot of sort of one-upmanship with them, really.
Yeah, and
they've got a common cause, really.
Yeah, they're on the same side, but they need to work out that they're on the same side. And they both have a lot of secrets being kept from each other. A lot of sausages to exchange as well.
And pickles.
Yeah, vegetarian sausages.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they paint a very dour picture of this lockdown hotel, don't they? That's all. Yeah. The main
it just sort of take you back, doesn't it, to when everything was like that.
Yeah, I mean, I never had to stay in one, thankfully, but yeah, it sort of makes you almost relieved that you didn't. But it's interesting, and something that we probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for the pandemic as the inspiration. Not that that makes up for it at all, but you know, it's sort of every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose. And like for Big Finish, you get stories like this, and you get the fact that David Tennant was able to record a lot more for a while. So yeah. There we have it. But yeah, I swear, are you going to get back onto this tonight, do you think, and finish it off? Or is it going to be Clone Wars?
I will get back onto this because I'm having such a kick out of it. So, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're going to dive into Death in Venice fairly soon after, because you picked this one up as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I picked that one up as well. Now, didn't you say it's like the same level as like Red List of story-wise?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's again very much all about Ace and Mr. Colchester as a duo, really. And their interactions are the highlight of this, except it very much does the opposite of that, whereas that was just them trapped in 2 hotel rooms. This is them going all over the world as Ace is hunted down by mysterious forces. So yeah, it's wonderful the different situations they get into. Mr. Colchester gets very grumpy as he has to go on a public bus at one point while they're on the run. And so, yeah, it's just more of the same, really. James Goss, again, doing a brilliant job, but just mixing things up a bit with the locations here. You get a bit more glamour to it, I suppose. A bit more spy espionage fun. So probably another 8 out of 10 for this one.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. If I had to say get one of the two, I'd probably say go for the Red List, just because by the time you finish that, you'll want to go pick up Death in Venice to carry on, really. Well, they do both stand alone quite well, but since Red List is that first meeting, I feel like it works better to get that one. A postcard for Mr. Colchester, I've not listened to be honest. It was free.
I know we've got no excuse because it's free.
It's only 10 minutes as well. But I think it's more to tie into the Among Us arc, isn't it? So it's like a little prequel to that they put out. Yeah, I'm sure it's interesting. But yeah, so the main reason I've not gone into it is because I've not kept up with that ongoing arc. So I haven't got Sucker's restricted items, archive entries 0212 049 or dead plates, to be honest. Nor have I
Or
got
war chest.
War Chest or Infidel Places, but I have got the Black Knight.
Hey.
A bit of ancillary Torchwood Soho in a way, isn't it? Well, I say isn't it? You've not got this one, have you?
I mean, I should have it.
You should, but again, it's one of those covers that maybe deceives you a little bit. Will they? It's a curious one. This one. So basically, you got this weird asteroids that seems to have something man-made on it, perhaps, and so, ends up having something man-made on it. But at first, it just seems to be destroying anything that's sent up into the atmosphere for mysterious purposes, and it's dubbed the Black Knight by Sophia Ingar's character. Actually, this is where her and Jacob Dudman first met before he then recommended her to be the new companion. Or I think actually Scott Hancock was directing this one, wasn't he? So I think they both looked at each other and said, "Have we found our new companion for the 11th Doctor Chronicles?" So I think this is an interesting one for that. Jacob Dudman's playing an interesting character in Freddie Talbot, sort of like a 50s, very patriotic character. Homophobic as he would be, so not the biggest fan of Norton from the off. But yeah, so he's a interesting one. And Lynn Sharman is the name of Sophia Ingar's character. She is the scientist who Norton is basically teaming up with here. And they make a good little duo while it lasts. But yeah, this one is one where you get to see Norton's darker side again. And it's much more of a Norton Folgate boiled down, really, is this story in the end. Not anything too amazing on its own. It sort of goes on for a while, then comes to a stop, really. It doesn't build up to as much as you think it would. But yeah, on the whole, I think I enjoyed it. It's probably a 7 out of 10, The Black Knight.
How does it compare to like the Soho stuff?
I'd say the Soho stuff's all better. I think that's where you get the more 50s style. With it being a 6-parter, there's more time to explore that world. This is very much just quick, get in and get out. Yeah. And also, again, it's sort of more told from Lynn Sharman's point of view as well. So Norton sort of comes in from the outside. It's not necessarily a Torchwood story in that sense. It's more, Torchwood steps in the form of Norton Folgate and gets involved. Yeah. Sunny, not got that one. But I did get Caddock Point to start off the year. I don't know quite why I picked this one. I think I was just in a good mood after the Grey Mare and the Crown, really, when we had those two. And so I thought, you know what, this one looks interesting. I like a bit of Andy Davison and Tom Price. I'll see what this one has to offer. And it's a very good one. It's very much about... how much can I say on this one? It's Andy investigating some disappearances that happened a while ago and were connected to an old teacher of his. So he's sort of got a personal connection there, an old art teacher. And it ends up being a story more about gay men in a time where they weren't accepted by society, sadly. And so it's about sort of that hidden love aspect to it. And it's a very interesting story, this one. I can't say too much. I will say that in the end, it's sort of building up this horror of this chapel on the seaside that people have been painting but isn't actually there. But apparently people end up getting visions of it, and then you sort of go to investigate that horror. But it ends up being like a rather bland conclusion, I guess. But yeah, certainly all the character work on the build up to that does a lot for me. Caddock Point, it's a good story, an 8 out of 10. that's probably about it for our main range dive, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Last
think
year.
so.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've got more from the main range from before this, but we don't want to be going on for too long.
Yeah, I mean, I think I worked out I've got about 30 Torchwoods, which I was
Oh
quite
wow.
surprised by.
It's amazing to think we're up to 70 of them now, though. Well, it feels like
Yeah.
not that long ago that the range started for us. Yeah, and it looks like there's, well, at least 12 more to come. Yeah. Shall we dive into some of the box sets from last year, though?
Yes, we can do.
Yeah, we had a couple of those last year. More in the worlds of Torchwood stuff rather than the ongoing stories. But yeah, I did dive into Torchwood 1. Did you ever get this one in the end? I think it's on offer again.
Is it on offer now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
$16.99. So is this my attempt to pitch it to you, I suppose?
Yeah, go on, pitch it, sell
I
it.
Yeah, we have had a full stream on this one as well. Well,
Yes.
not quite a full stream. We did a
April round
triple in one. Yeah, it was Torch 1 Nightmares, The Outlaws, and Doctor of War, wasn't it? That was what we covered all together.
Yeah.
Last April. But yeah, this one, I mean, it is 3 separate stories. It's an anthology release. You know, you don't have one long story arc here. And so you kick off with a very spooky late night talk show story where someone is trying to expose Torchwood and Yvonne Hartman, but it gets twisted and sort of seems to blow up in his face. It's Nigel Best is the name of the host, and he is played by John Coleshaw. And it's very much a tour de force from John Coleshaw, this one. You get Yvonne Hartman and Yanto dipping in and out of the story, but it is very much more John Coleshaw's hour to shine, really. And it goes to some messed up places. So, yeah, I can't say too much more on that one, but I think it's a highlight of the set. And, yeah, very unnerving. Then you get Lola and this one I wasn't expecting too much from. It's sort of the more standard Torchwood 1 affair, I suppose. You know, you're very much going around those locations you would know from Army of Ghosts / Doomsday. But actually, it's a lot better than I expected it to be. I thought it would just be the middle of the road sort of episode, you know, the padding in the box set. But no, it's actually really great stuff, really interesting story. And then finally, it rounds off with Less Majesty, which is more of a farce. It's a comedy at the end of the day. It's again in a hotel room, similar to Red List, and actually features the same villain from the Red List.
Okay.
So there's a bit of some tie-in there. And this one is basically Yvonne Hartman wakes up next to the dead body of a member of the royal family. And so she has to work out whether or not she actually killed him. What on earth's going on here? Can she get Torchwood to cover it up? Yeah, and so basically different characters get brought in to the room to help solve this. It's all really set in the one hotel room. Again, very similar to the Red List, and it's by James Goss again. But it does very much stand on its own from the Red List as well. They're sister stories, really, I suppose. And it's got that similar tone, but instead played much more for laughs in a way. And there are a lot of laughs we had in this one with the 3 characters just faffing about in a hotel room, really. It's what you get at the end of the day. So yeah, I had a good time with this. It's a good range of stories here for nightmares. They all suit the theme of it being a nightmare in different ways. One is absolutely creepy. The next is a very different sort of nightmare, and then the final is, you know, like you've gone into work without your trousers on, sort of nightmare. It's one that Yvonne's living through, really, and yeah, it's a fun way to play off the theme of nightmares. So, yeah, I was very surprised with this one. I'm not sure what made me pick it. Maybe it was just the cover at the end of the day. It's a gorgeous cover there.
It was one of those sort of releases that sort of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was announced like February, was it?
Yeah, quite a quick turnaround, really.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think there's got to be something else coming this April that we've yet to see announced. But I don't think it'll be a Torchwood because we've got 3 Torchwood box sets coming out in May, June, and July. So, yeah, as Among Us continues. But finally, we could get back to something that you've listened to as well as we round off the Torchwood, or at least last year Torchwood section of this video with Torchwood Soho. You've got 2 of these, haven't you, actually?
I have Parasite and The Unbegotten.
Yeah. Are you tempted by Ashenden? Because that's on offer at the moment as well.
I think I probably will get it at some point.
Yeah.
Just to complete.
Complete a trilogy. Because I was thinking about it, actually. I feel like it's a series of diminishing returns in a way, actually. I think they have gotten slightly worse as it's gone on. But because it started so strong anyway, it's not anywhere near bad at all. It's still great in Unbegotten.
I mean, this was my first Soho, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's a very good one as well. I mean, almost more in terms of it's got a lot of good ideas and a lot of good scenes, but maybe the whole by the end of it, I don't think works out as well for me. I think that's the ending's probably the weakest part of this.
I think you work out the big reveal halfway through, really, in episode 3, where you're like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, there's a lot of spooky scenes though. Like, you're going into that crypt a lot, aren't you?
It does definitely have like a Quatermass feel.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, that's what this whole series is really harkening off of, and you can certainly tell it by looking at them. Parasite is very much a riff on the Quatermass experiment, and then Ashenden with its small town setting, or new town setting, sorry, is very much riffing off Quatermass 2, as that had something particular, rather similar and spooky. And then this, you've got the London-bound wartime mystery, which is very much playing off of Quatermass and the Pit, and even has like a bomb site, doesn't it? In this one,
yeah, because this is sort of a place that hasn't sort of been redeveloped yet, is it? It's still sort of
there's mysteries here, and it's been left to be forgotten by the government, left to rot, and there's reasons for that as well.
And there's a reason why Torchwood have been sent into this area, really. Without it being like the Moon Knights. Is it Moon Knights? Something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. But you've got that interesting character from the Ministry, don't you? I can't. Is it Anderson?
Yeah, because you get them interrogating Norton, which is blooming good stuff.
Yeah. Armitage, that's it. Armitage.
Yeah, that's it.
By Greg Austin, from Class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He does have a very annoying voice in this one. Like, there's that one phrase he says, isn't there? I can't remember. Classic, that's it. That's always a very punchable moment, I suppose, whenever he's you're a bit like, it's enough now. You're overdoing it. I feel like it's intentional for the character, though. It's not Greg Austin doing a bad job. It's very much how the character is meant to be. You're meant to be against him and for Norton in these situations. But, or for Gideon in some cases. There's sort of a love triangle going on there, isn't there?
Yes, yeah.
And it's parallels quite nicely with this idea of, doing it for the greater good or doing it for Torchwood's expansion. Yeah, I mean, Andy isn't too bad here, but he does sort of feel a bit like a spare wheel, perhaps, at times.
I guess because he's not really the main focus. He's kind of just sort of the comedic sidekick, as it were.
Yeah, there's that wonderful line towards the start about him looking like a puppy eager to please.
Especially when they're in the brothel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, that has some dark moments.
the end
Oh,
of episode 2. My goodness, what a cliffhanger!
yeah, that sends chills down your spine.
And I think we've talked to so because it's a 6-parter, but they're 30 minutes. They're very bingeable. Like you feel you can get through it very quickly.
Yeah, you sort of look at it and think, I could do another one. Especially when you have cliffhangers like at the end of episode 2.
It's
Yeah.
straight on to the next one, really.
Yeah. I mean, one thing this set did kind of drop that the other two have is the out of order narrative. Because those sets, you'll often have like entire episodes dedicated to flashbacks and filling you in on past events, which I think works very well. It sort of adds a nice context and is a good way of doing these reveals. And it's something you couldn't get away with an hour-long format, but because you've got a half hour to play with, it works more often. Here, it's sort of a shame that was dropped. There are still flashbacks in there, but they're more just at the start of an episode before things carry on as normal. Yeah. But on the whole, I like this range, and I hope it gets to continue beyond this now, because this will be the end of Scott Hancock's run with Torchwood. This was his last story that he recorded.
Now he's with Russell now.
Yeah. Although it's not the end for us because of how Big Finish works with all being out of order. He had a role to play in Among Us, for example. So yeah, there's more Scott Hancock to come for us. But it's just funny thinking of this as his last day on the job at Big Finish, or at least with Torchwood, because I believe Dark Season was his final production as a whole. But yeah, this was his last Torchwood. I believe it said in the extras. Any more things to say about The Unbegotten?
It's a cracking release.
Yeah. It's all hard to get into without spoilers, isn't it, this one?
Yeah. But it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. I'd say all of Torchwood Soho as well, it's on offer.
Why not?
I mean,
why not?
Yeah. I've sort of finally got my Dark Eyes free on you now, because you've dived in with the third story in this series, not the first.
But Dark Eyes is a bit different.
I don't know. You're missing a lot of context there with Lisbeth Hayho.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you've already got Parasite. You definitely need to get around to listen to that at some point.
I will at some point.
It's a good one.
There's just a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah, I know. Getting a bit overwhelmed at the moment. Speaking of stuff coming out, should we look at what's in store for the future? Or should we give it a quick out of 10 first?
Yeah, we'll do a quick out of 10 since while we're here.
Yeah. I'll probably go an 8.
I'd agree with an 8. I think
I've been throwing a lot of 8s around tonight.
I know, you're being positive.
There we go.
News time,
Maybe we should do more Torchwood.
Maybe we should just subscribe to Torchwood.
Yeah. Yeah. Shall we start with what's coming for Torchwood?
Yes.
Yeah, because we've got 2 cover reveals and like story details, and then we've also had a trailer for Among Us, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one do you want to go for first?
I guess should we do the release Luke wants to get?
Yeah, might as well.
First trap.
Written by Andy Davison for Andy Davison. With a bit of Reese thrown in there as well.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Inception style of messed up geography on the cover there.
Bit Castrovalva in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the main thing that interests me about this one is just to see what Tom Price can do as a writer, really. Because it just seems like a very nice bloke when you listen to him on the extras.
Yeah, I guess because Gareth David Lloyd, he's wrote a few Torchwood, so it'd be interesting to see Tom Price.
Yeah, just see what he could do, see where he takes the character. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've had any of him in like present day, isn't it? Love it. Is this our first post? Yeah, this is our first post Stranded one
Yeah,
for
it
him.
is.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be set post Stranded. In fact, it probably isn't because you got Reese there, but still, we'll see where this one goes. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things closer to the time where it's like, what's out? What do I need in my basket to push it over 50 quid?
Yeah,
Well, on this one gets put in, but it certainly interests me. To take a look at the next one.
we certainly can. The next one is launch date.
Yanto interfering in the love life of his best mate. I mean, what do you think of this one and its cover?
It looks very sort of action packed, but again, Torchwood are quite deceptive for their covers, really.
Yeah. I mean, apparently the cover was inspired by some of those earlier covers, like Fall to Earth in such a more minimalist style with the clouds. Was what Sean Longmore said. And you could see that with this one.
Yeah,
It's
definitely can.
kind of a bit more minimal. But Yanto looks a little bit glossy.
Does look a bit shiny.
But who knows? Yeah, story wise, seems interesting enough. But again, it's like one of those things of, do I want to spend the 10 quid just for this? Yeah, it's one of those ones that if you want to go pick it up, go for it. But maybe probably not for us.
Yeah, there's normally a sort of a hook for us with the Torchwood stuff.
Yeah, and this one just doesn't have that, unfortunately. But not everyone can. And it's probably good that not everyone does, because otherwise we'd be really low on money.
Oh yeah, we'd be we'd be poor.
Yeah. And finally, another it's funny, we've been singing the praises of Torchwood here, but now everything that they've got coming out for a good while is not of any interest to us at the moment.
Which is good in a way.
Yeah, it saves us money. Yeah. But anyway, we have Among Us 1. We got a trailer for this one recently, didn't we? Have you listened to that?
I've not listened to it now. But
I
Janet
go,
has.
yeah, Janet knows.
Janet knows.
I'm pretty sure there's a hello there behind Mr. Colchester as well.
Looks like that.
That's probably the best part of the cover.
I mean, are you tempted by it?
Not really. I mean, I've not got any of Aliens Among Us or God Among Us. It's on sale at the moment, but I probably won't go for it. So that's right. Same for you, isn't it? You'd have to finish Aliens first, really, and then go God.
Yeah. But yeah, there's other stuff I wanna buy. like we said at the start of the stream, Tortured's kind of that step in and out of range. It's that sort of, I fancy a little bit of a break from Doctor Who. I'll listen to a Tortured, then I'll jump back into Doctor Who again.
Yeah, it's just like a quick dip, and then see where it goes from there. Whereas this is much more of a commitment because it's a 12-episode series, and so there's probably going to be a bit of up and down in there as well. I've not even watched all of Torchwood on TV, to be honest. So,
what a fake fan! Fake fan there.
There you go. Yeah,
but something you have dived into.
Yeah, this was an exciting reveal today.
Unexpected, actually.
I mean, I suppose it had to come sooner or later because it was out in April. But
yeah, I just didn't expect this one today.
No. I mean, we've still not got the 8th of March cover for March. But yeah, the robots. This is a gorgeous cover. I think it's probably the best of the range. I love the color palette there. And SV77 as well, presumably a reference to 1977 when.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
F was. And what do you make of how the new logo is? Because we saw it on Class as well.
Yeah.
This is our first time seeing it on a proper World of Doctor Who spin-off series.
I really like it. I think it works well because Voc robots of the 70s, and this sort of gives me that sort of Doctor Who magazine 70s feel to it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's the right. It's close to being an era-appropriate logo, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm excited to see the robots range come to its conclusion now, because it's been a long while in the waiting. Because there's been quite a few delays with this series. It started back in December 2019.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, I waited a bit and picked it up June 2020. I think it was one of those. It's lockdown. I don't have what's called much time. I don't have much to do with my time. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've
I'd
got
say.
plenty of time in lockdown.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got no excuse.
So might as well dive into a new Big Finish spin-off, and I'm glad I did. And you've got volumes 1 to 4 at the moment, haven't you?
Yes, I've got the first 4.
Is it volume 2 or 3 that's being a pain and not showing up in the
2.
mail?
2's not arrived.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think is this going to be something you'll dive into before volume 6 comes out? See if you can catch up.
I'd like to, so
Yeah.
we can do a stream on it and cover it, because it does. From what you've said, it does feel like a bit of an unsung spin-off, because a lot of people, myself included, thought, is this a spin-off too far? But from what people have been saying, it seems like it's a hidden gem, really.
Yeah, it is ripe with social commentary and great world building for Caldor as well. So it's nice how they are sort of working into this idea that Liv doesn't have long left on Caldor now. Like the last story is called The Final Hour. So it's very much leading into how events play out in Ravenous 2 with Escape from Caldor. Which is funny to think you've got this whole range built off one story in the middle of Eighth Doctor run of adventures. And it's not even like a particularly popular one.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a panned one or anything. It's just there, really.
That's the thing. Like when you listen to Ravenous, are you going to slot all the robots in, and then carry on with like everything else? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just funny thinking how far Liv has come since this, really.
With Tanya and yeah.
I mean, even the Ninth Doctor now as well. Like this is all taking place after this. Yeah, I've been continuing this adventure with Liv alongside her ongoing stuff with the Eighth Doctor, and yet this is still back in 2018 with Ravenous 2.
Jeez.
It's funny how it works out, and I think it's unfortunate in the sense that we didn't get any. We can't. Well, it's difficult to get any follow up on these events with Liv herself, because she's rejoined the TARDIS team. She would have spoke about it a long time ago. Unless for whatever reason we get a sequel of sorts to Escape from Caldor, and the Eighth Doctor, Liv and Helen return there at some point.
I mean, it just feel like a thing they would do.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I think, especially now that we've not got the ongoing stories, it would work as a little. I suppose it'd be like a bookend, isn't it? Because Escape from Caldor is sort of like the prologue to the robots, so it'd be nice to have a epilogue of sorts, maybe even a 2-parter if we can make it work. By John Dorney.
That'd be nice.
There we go. That's something for the wish list, but
nevertheless,
we've got the end of volume 6 first, and John Dorney's actually writing one of these.
Yeah, I think is it the middle one?
Yeah, it's Helen Goldwyn and John Dorney and Matt Fitton, who I don't think has written one of these yet, despite being the script editor for it. Oh no, John Dorney's script editor on this set, isn't it? It's been John Dorney throughout. It's funny because these are like the 2 Eighth Doctor writers, really, or were for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt Fitton's been writing less and less recently, though. Yeah, good to see another script from him, and hopefully a fun, action-packed conclusion to the range. Yo-yo evening, lads. Hello, Mr. Moncactus. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Yeah. Sarge says, if Liv can get a spin-off, then where's the Menzies spin-off? She was in The Condemned, Rain Cloud Man, Crowdstorm's Brewster, and Avenues of Possibility, which is beloved by many who've heard her. No. I said, figures with the robots, it's less a Liv spin-off and more of a Caldor. Yeah, Caldor and robot stuff. Because you have episodes where Liv is completely absent and it's more focusing on Truce and Paul from Robots of Death. Daniel Hager, yes, I would love to hear Tegan in unit with Ace. I feel like that's got to be where unit's going next after Nemesis.
I imagine so.
Yeah, unit freelancers or something. We shall see. Joe Bowers asked, would you like to see Tegan appear in any of the Torchwood releases? Would she fit anywhere?
I don't know.
No. If they can make it work, then sure. I suppose maybe along with Ace, I guess.
Yeah, I think that'd
be a trio of Mr. Colchester.
I mean, Mr. Colchester and Tegan seems like a perfect combination.
It's just you worry, are you riffing too much off the Mr. Colchester and Ace dynamic then? Is it just going to be the same repeated, really? But we'll see.
Yeah.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, the stylish one. Doctor Who, the Dr. Ogron Adventures Volume 1, Guide of War Guerrilla Returns.
I mean, I'd pay good money for that.
Oh, no. Sorry I haven't been around. I've been catching up with My Hero Academia. No worries.
No problem.
No,
what made you decide to pick up all of these Torchwood releases? What convinces you in general to buy Torchwood stories? It depends on the release. I think Luke's more of a Torchwood buyer than me.
But only slightly.
Yeah.
I mean, some you look at it, it's obvious. It's like it's got Autons in or it's got Ace in. It's like it's got a strong Doctor Who connection, so we'll go for it. Other time, I think we like our Christmassy stuff, don't we?
Yeah, we tend to get like the festive one.
Yeah, because that's like it's the right time of year when it comes out, so we're in the right mood. We think we might as well give it a listen. Which then that's what led me to get Lincolnshire Poacher because it's Yanto, Lauren Mooney, and Stuart Pringle again. It's the same trio behind the Grey Mare, which I very much enjoyed. So that's what led me to pick up that one. Yeah. Sometimes it's just more on a whim, really.
Yeah.
Unless, like, picking up the Black Knight, that's more because I've been picking up Soho. And Soho I got because I quite like Quatermass, and, it's like a play on that, really, isn't it? A Torchwood version of it. So that's what led me down that rabbit hole, really. And sometimes there's stories that just look particularly good.
Yeah. I like with anything, really, I think.
Yeah. I think so. In some ways, it's less which ones we pick up and more which ones we don't, really, isn't it? Because
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, because with Doctor Who, we're just picking up practically everything because we almost feel obliged to at this point, I guess. We don't want to feel like we're missing out.
Yeah.
Whereas with Torchwood, we sort of feel like we have to have a limit somewhere, so we just go for the ones that really interest us.
Unless it's on sale where it kind of go crazy if you want. You know. But even then, it's got to interest.
Yeah. It's like usually with the sales, it's something you've been eyeing up for a while and thinking,
you can justify it then.
Yeah. If anyone's interested in listening to any non-Doctor Who Big Finish releases, then I would recommend UFO, as it expands upon the TV series backstory and fleshes out the characters. In my opinion, it's better than the TV series. Well, there's a solid recommendation there.
There we go. Stylish one. I've been listening to Autumn Infinity, and everyone else hyped it up. And I'm not just becoming a Fifth Doctor fan, so let me tell you, it is massive. Amazing story that I love. I'm glad that it's delivering, because it's a banger.
It deserves the love. Yeah. Tim Foley again, brilliant writer.
See, we can agree on things in general. I find that usually you and Luke I disagree with. Still, I hope I never comes across as annoying.
No, you don't.
No. I just like to offer alternative perspectives when I can. Hey, we're all about different opinions here, and we respect all opinions here. Nice little community.
Yeah. I mean, our opinions don't always line up either, do they?
No.
Cold Vengeance.
Cold Vengeance is a big one, yeah.
Do you think Big Finish are going to do a soft reboot given where Unit Nemesis 3 went and where the fourth set is going? Seems like they're setting up for a clean set for wherever the series goes next. I mean, we've not listened to Unit Nemesis 3, to be honest. Or I'm pretty sure you haven't.
Definitely haven't, no. I've got it on the shelf.
Yeah, I've not even picked it up, to be honest. Yeah, we shall see. It feels like they've got room to set up, though, like we're saying with Tegan and Ace on TV. But I suppose it also depends whether maybe Russell has plans for a Unit TV spin-off.
Yeah, especially with Kate coming back as well.
Yeah, they're keeping Gemma Redgrave busy on TV, aren't they?
So might not have time to do Big Finish.
Yeah, might be too big for them now.
Maybe.
She came back after appearing in Flux and Power of the Doctor, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought Unit Nemesis was meant to be really like a clean slate and a jumping on point, but it ended up not quite being in some ways. Because that was when Andrew Smith took over as script editor, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But I hope going forward we maybe go back to less ongoing arcs, Nemesis.
Or maybe how it was the beginning, sort of one story for over 3 or 4 hours, maybe.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best way. Have you listened to any of Brave New World, the latest one, yet?
No. I forgot that exists. My bad.
Yeah, it slipped through the cracks a bit. I did do the first episode of it, although it's with Ninth Doctor now out, and we've also got to go through Kaleidoscope again. It'll probably be a while till I get around to the second.
And then Demon Song next week as well.
Yeah, that's true.
When you got to put that
the week after?
Literally, when are you got to put that on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I've got what's it called as well? The audio novel Dead Star.
Oh,
I haven't started that yet, but yeah,
that's 7 hours.
Yeah, that's a big commitment to get around to at some point, but it's just waiting for a bit of quiet. I feel like we'll get quiet in March,
because
that's like a calmer month. I mean, one of the releases we've already gotten, so
yeah,
with Terror of the Master. Joe Bauer says, I think if Torchwood continues, we'll probably move to the Whittaker era, depicting how Kate tried to protect Earth when it was shut down on audio. Yeah, that's true, actually. Now that the Chibnall/Whittaker era is over, they can now expand and move into that, can't they? And maybe take some tonal cues from that. Because I feel like at the moment it's still very Moffat-y in style. It's still keeping in line with things like the Zygon, Invasion, and Day of the Doctor. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Maybe have a bit more of a Power of the Doctor tone to it. I wonder why people would drop off continuing ongoing series even if they loved them. Then Big Finish announced 2 more Spyber sets, and I understood the feeling. It's just often it's down to money, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you got to have a limit somewhere. I mean, it was sort of a bit irritating, even with, I mean, the robots I love, but they suddenly came out and said, we're doing a 5th and 6th volume of this. And it was a bit like, I sort of was just expecting the 4th.
Yeah. You're like, I've signed up for this.
Yeah, I've signed up for this. I'm enjoying it. But now suddenly you're stretching it. And I think it's also that feeling of, if you're stretching it out this little bit, are you going to try and eke more out of this and never conclude it? Because Big Finish are terrible when it comes to getting to endings. Like, there's so many loose threads still out there at the moment. Thankfully, Robot 6 is looking to be the end of it.
Which is nice, actually, but it's a limited run, as it were.
Yeah. Because especially the way it's set up with Liv just having this year away from the TARDIS, a gap year, pretty much.
Yeah.
You need that limited time to feel special. Otherwise, if things just go on forever, then they lose their impact, really. Yeah, a thing isn't beautiful because it exists. It's beautiful because it exists for a short time. Which master who doesn't currently have a Big Finish spin-off would you most like to have one?
Alex McQueen.
Yeah, just to get more of him, really.
I know, it was a joy having him in Masterful, and I was like, I miss him. I need more.
I mean, Beavers wouldn't be too bad, but it's more because we've already got quite a lot of his master. Whereas the Alex McQueen master is one who sadly feels a bit neglected right now. So
yeah,
it feels like, had the new series license come along a bit earlier, we probably wouldn't even have got him.
Yeah,
it might have just been Derek Jacobi and Dark Eyes right from the off.
Ooh,
that's a weird alternative to think about.
I kind of want to experience that, just to know what it's like.
Yeah, we did get him in Ravenous.
Yeah,
got to hear him and Liv. Give me Delgado, please, says Dragon Bugs. That's another one, isn't it? But that's one where I feel like you need to get a few stories with the Third Doctor first.
Yeah, I'd want that first.
I mean, maybe there was that one novel, wasn't there, where it was like the Third Doctor was away. I think it was set during Curse of Peladon. And so the Brigadier has to let the Master
Face of the Enemy, I think it is.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, you get a bit of it in Claws of Axos as well, don't you? Towards the end there, where the Brigadier is supposed to work with the Master. That would be interesting as not a full spin-off, but just, a single release doing that concept again.
Yeah.
Give me Alex McQueen and Sally Armstrong 4-box set series. I pre-ordered that so fast. Best master and one of the best Big Finish original side characters in Sally. Dragonbug says, "Oh yeah, of course. I feel like a Delgado recast would do so much for Big Finish. I feel like it's gonna be John Colchester at this point.
Yeah,
which, I mean, he's done amazing stuff with so many different recasts, hasn't he, and original characters as well. But it does feel like, is it a step too far to go for the Master?
I mean, he's basically doing the whole Fifth Doctor era.
Yeah.
At this point.
Do you mean Third Doctor?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Brigadier. Well, he's done like Chameleon, Ainley.
Oh yeah, that's true. So he's doing a fair chunk of both, isn't he? I mean, he's playing 3 different roles in the Also Infinity.
Yeah,
and he does them all very well. I think his Ainley is far superior to his Delgado.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so if they were to continue with just one of them, I'd rather just carry on with his Ainley and get someone else in as Delgado. But we shall see. Joe Bauer says, "Give Mark Gatiss Master a series."
I do enjoy Mark Gatiss's Master.
Yeah, he's an actor who dips in and out more. Big Finish. He was quite busy during lockdown, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, one bit of news we forgot to talk about.
Oh, what's that?
Fourth Doctor covers.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were last week. They were last Friday, but we obviously streamed on Wednesday, so we didn't get to talk about those. I don't think there was any. Was there any news on Thursday as well? I don't know. It's just the short trips came out. So yeah, Fourth Doctor covers.
I'll load them up.
Yeah. Individual ones for Ice Heist and Antilia the Lost. It's been a good week and a bit for Ryan Applin, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he
Very
had
good.
The robots cover as well. And also even more cast details came out for the Fifth Doctor conflicts of interest. So I mean, I can't say it's sort of like a spot the difference, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's just cast and crew details. But yeah, well, I thought they'd already released all of them, to be honest, but apparently not. But anyway, aren't these covers just so gorgeous?
I love them. They're great. I've been so excited for Ice Heist because I've just wanted a Fourth Doctor Ice Warrior story for a long time.
I love that glacier setting.
And it sort of gives me sort of Image of the Fendal vibe with that sort of figure in the background.
Oh yeah, with the arms up. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I do very much like this one. I feel like with the Fourth Doctor Adventures, you get great box set covers, but the individual artwork is where things start to shine even more.
And I think the logo is so complementary to the cover as well.
Yeah, it works very well on both, I'd say.
It gives me sort of Fifth Doctor 40 cover vibe, actually, because you've got like the sort of effect there, and then like the characters in like the V shape.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And I mean, they both had Ice Warriors in as well.
Yeah,
Hopefully this will be better than God of War.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, this would have been written and recorded before God of War was even thought up, probably.
Mental.
I love that classic Ice Warrior Queen they've got there. That sort of hybrid of classic and new. And Antilia the Lost. That's it. It's rather a nice one as well.
It's nice having different Fourth Doctor variants, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Like him going shirtless, not shirtless.
What? That's a different cover, Luke.
It's got the shirt on and the waistcoat.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, he's joining with Leela, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
one for the mums.
One for the mums.
Yeah, I'm curious about. You've got a lot of that hand imagery, haven't you? Where it almost looks like something zombie related, perhaps. I'm curious about this one as a story because it feels like it's one that's keeping a lot close to its chest.
Yeah. I feel like it can be a hidden gem, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like, as well, looking at the past few series, the second release has been my favorite consistently. Yeah, like series 9, you had
Chase the
Night, which is brilliant. Series 10, you had Day of the Comet, which is sort of like Chase the Night, and a lot of it's that similar scenario, isn't it?
Yes.
But same writer. It was actually written before and recorded before Chase the Night. So Chase the Night feels like a more refined version of it. But nevertheless, Day of the Comet is very good. And then last year we had the Ravencliff Witch, which of course I loved. That was brilliant. So yeah, Antilia the Lost. It's got a lot to live up to there.
Got high hopes.
Yeah.
High hopes.
But also alongside this, out on Twitter from Ryan Applin, we had confirmation that
you were cheeky.
Yeah, I popped a little question to him, and he responded saying, even though the Wizard of Time and the Friendly Invasion, first one by Roy Gill, second one by Chris Chapman, even though they're listed together online, they are going to be getting a cover each. So we've got 5 more Fourth Doctor covers to look forward to in this series. The main box set one, and then 4 individual stories. So good times ahead for us Fourth Doctor fans. And it makes me wonder: is it going to be another 4-thick CD one?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Be like a little throwback because we're not used to getting
almost
4
be a
CD
bit,
box sets anymore.
It'll almost feel a bit empty, won't it? Because you'll be using the horizontal format still.
Yeah.
Let me just see. I'll be buying the new Frontiers Fourth Doctor set. Looking forward to it, says Dragon Bugs. Same here. Stylish One says, I'm hyped for Wizard Time and the Friendly Invasion, even though we just have story titles. Brilliant titles that make me hyped. You wonder if it's going to feature any surprises there.
You imagine
details come around. Yeah, they feel like the type of place you'd sneak it in. But I mean, Stone Cold, of course, you got the Weeping Angels, so that'd be exciting. Daniel Hager says, I hope season 20 on Blu-ray this year, please, for the Fifth Doctor, and I'm getting season 19 soon on Blu-ray. Enjoy season 19, it's a good one.
Enjoy it, yeah. I mean, it's brilliant restoration. Because you actually do get HD Davison. Yeah, beautiful. When you get to like visitation and location on Castra Velvet, it's so good.
Yeah, you can see why I went for that 1 second. And yeah, certainly we're long overdue, Alana Peter Davison. So yeah, season 20 would be good. So I just want to ask, which do you think we'll get first? A third Christina set or a third Jenny set? I feel like Big Finish would want to do a third Jenny set first, but I think in terms of availability, they'd have an easier job putting together a Christina set first.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's very much 50-50.
Yeah.
I'd say Jenny is their aim, Christina is the realistic.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
But I suppose, is that us done for today?
I think that is. I think we've covered Torchwood. It's been fun doing something a little bit different. We've gone out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, but we'll be right back in it. We're retreating into the arms of Pertwee, aren't we?
Yeah, which would be nice.
His outstretched arms with the cape.
Don't worry, boys. You've done danger. I'll protect you now.
The warm embrace of Kaleidoscope. Focus.
Be interesting. It's an interesting release.
Look forward to a full dive into that next week. And of course, we talk about whatever news comes out in the days in between.
And we'll be back tomorrow.
We will for a special little video. You don't have too long to wait on that one. So, should we leave it at that, or do you want to give a tease at all?
What do you say?
I say it's only a day away, so we can leave it at that.
Yeah.
Wait
and see. Wait and see.
But yeah, Ben sent me a little bit of footage of the edit, and it feels like it's coming together very nicely.
It's one where I don't want to say we put effort in, but there's effort in it, you know.
Dragonbug says, I like Kaleidoscope a lot. It was fun. We'll be interested in hearing some more thoughts from you on that next week if you're able to join us, Dragonbugs.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, how dare you slander Lady Christina, unironically a brilliant spin-off? I didn't mean it as slander. I just meant in terms of that Georgia Tennant seems to be a bit more harder for Big Finish to pin down.
What are you saying, Luke? What are you saying, Luke?
Well, she's got a lot of children to take care of. She can only get out to the shed every once in a while.
I will say one thing about Lady Christina.
Go ahead.
The theme tune slaps.
It does. The Snowflake, hello. I'm afraid you've joined us right at the end, but you asked.
Thanks for joining anyway.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. What do you think about Once and Future? Asked Snowflake. And do you think Nine will interact with other doctors? I mean, it seems he might be interacting with the Unbound Doctor, David Warner.
Yeah, I think that's one.
And once in future, it's sort of hard to say because there's not many details.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. You can't really say anything on it.
Yeah.
And you can't really speculate on it because we've only had like the TARDIS flying through the letters and going, "This is what we're doing."
Mm.
We can't be far away from getting details, to be honest.
No, it's May. We're getting covers for May already, so yeah. I'm curious, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah. I've not pre-ordered it yet, though, I will say. But I think there's not much chance of me not pre-ordering it, though, let's be honest.
I just want to know what the difference is with the limited and standard.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference of the artwork?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like waiting to see what the artwork is, and then that'll probably be I'm going to go and pre-order the big bundle now. Snowflake also asks, what is the best 9th and 10th Doctor Big Finish story? Best 9th is easily Way of the Buryman and
Fourth generation.
The fourth generation, the two-parter with the Cybermen. I imagine that's yours as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Or if we're going standalone, Girl Deconstructed.
Really? Above Station to Station?
Well, actually, Station to Station, actually.
Oh, there we go. I know him better than he knows himself.
I may be erasing Series 2 from my head.
Yeah. Wiping the good as well as the bad away.
Literally.
And 10th Doctor. And the final two-parter of Dalek Universe is a very strong contender.
Just got to say Dalek Universe, haven't you, really?
Yeah. But I don't... Creeping Death, not a good one.
Creeping Death, yeah. No Place.
Yeah, that as well.
Great one.
Yeah. Expiry Dating.
Expiry Dating, that's really good one. Death and the Queen.
I'm not as big a fan of that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go back to Volume 1 at one point. But anyway, Snowflake says, thanks for the live. Have a good day. Glad I caught the end. Thank you for joining us for the.
Thank you.
Hopefully, you're able to catch more next time. We'll be here about the same time next week for Kaleidoscope. That's us done for tonight.
Yeah, for more Big Finish shenanigans, we'll see you tomorrow. But we'll see you for Kaleidoscope. Ooh, yeah, very interesting. Oh, can't wait to.
Kaleidoscope.
We might sing along. It's all good. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. If you've enjoyed the stream, like, subscribe, do all that lovely stuff. It's been a pleasure as always speaking to you lot. And we'll see you next week.
Lurkers as well, you're appreciated. Thank you for watching.
We appreciate you, lurkers. We appreciate you all. So yeah, even if you're watching on replay, thank you for catching up. And we'll see you next time for more Big Finish shenanigans. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.